Hello, hello there. Happy October indeed. And I think we got a follow there. Epic Legend Quest. Hello to you. We are going to start off with little Dune House Harkonnen. Been a few days. Maybe just a little bit of Fantastics here first. Just to recall some things for the last time before we work on Benvolio some more. And then, email for that today. It's the start of the month. And then we'll look forward to get back to Red Dead for the first time in quite a few months, so that should all be great. Let's go ahead and get started. Everything else looking good for a full October here on stream. Look forward to chat with you soon. Got some little Fortnite hunt today. I might play just a brief bit today on stream as well. Get to back to Hand of Fate soon too. That was good fun last night, and we'll look forward to it. All looking pretty great here. So let's begin and check it out. Alrighty, September, officially done. Welcome our new champions here. And we shall see. Star of the month will feature Alucard and Solaria. Especially Alucard with the longest sub badge so far before we get our 2-year sub badge. And that will be great. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and begin. Just a little Fantastics here to recall the lines for the last time before the show opens in less than a couple weeks. Then we'll be back to Benvolio, as you can see there. Alrighty. Oh, don't... Sir, the players have arrived. Oh, don't look at us like we are, sir. Please, remove 10 pounds of road dust from these aged, wrinkled cheeks. See makeup caked in glowing powder pink. Imagine a beard, full-blown and blowing like the whiskers of a bear. And hair. Imagine hair in a box. I've got all colors, so I beg you imagine hair. And not these clothes. Oh, no, 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 dear God. Not rags like any beggar has, but see me in a doublet. Mortimer, fetch the doublet. There, imagine. It's torn, I know, forget it. It vanishes under light. That's it, that's the whole trick. Try to see me under light. I recite. Say a cue, you'll see I'll know it. Go on, say one, try me. It's what? No, no, don't tell me, you'll see I can get it. Friends, Romans, countrymen? I can't hear a blind word you're saying. Why, yes, why, of course, why, that's easy. Why didn't you pick out something hard? Watch this. Friends, Romans, countrymen, screw your courage to the sticking place, and be not sick and pale with grief that thou, her handmaidens, should be far more fair than she is. How's that? Try to see it under light. I assure you, it is dazzling. I am Henry Albertson. Perhaps you recall my Hamlet? You remember. Would you like to see the clippings? I preserve them. Who knows, I may write a book someday. This is Mortimer. He does death scenes. He's been with me for 40 years. Want to see one? He's an expert. Go on, Mortimer. Die for the man. There, you see, what did I tell you? Now down to business. You, sir, need players. That, sir, is my specialty. Have you never seen my Romeo? You didn't see my Romeo? Perhaps you recall... No, I'm skipping it. You never saw my Romeo? What about my Lear? Richard III? Richard II? My bottom? Surely you've seen my bottom. My bottom was famous. If you had seen my bottom, you'd never forget it. I have the clippings. Aha. And if he but blench, nobly done. Oh, young man. We thank you. Off left, Mortimer, off left. Villains always go off left. I'll tell you when it's time. Oh, and Mortimer, don't forget, dress the stage, dress the stage. Dear friend, don't cluster up when you die. He's still an apprentice, you know. Amazing. Thank you, thank you. Orchestra, accelerando con molto prosciutto. Swords ready, villains abduct. That was a fast 4 hours today. Last chatting in the Discord 4 hours ago. Kind of fast. Time does fly. Swords ready, villains abduct. No, down left. A touch, I do confess. Once more, unto the breach, dear friends, once more. Cry God for Henry, England, and St. George. Yes, going somewhere. There isn't much left to the old company anymore. Just Mortimer and me. But we do all right. I recite Shakespeare and Mortimer dies. There's usually an audience somewhere. Oh, I nearly forgot. Here's your moon. And flights of angels sing thee... That's my light. Thank you. And flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. Why doth the drum come hither? Remember, Mortimer, there are no small actors, only small parts. Remember me in light. And where may you be going, my fiery-eyed young friend? Don't bother to answer, I can see it in your eyes. You go for the goose, the golden goose that lays the platinum-plated egg, right? Right. I am Lodovigo, just like yourself, a young man looking for the pleasant pinch of adventure. And to your left, observe this seamy individual. He is my companion. Yes. And to your left, observe this seamy individual. He is my companion who goes by the name of Socrates. A Romanov, he means, a blue blood. He is descended from the Tsars. Welcome to Lurker. Yes, the Tsars. He is in fact the noblest Romanov, them all. But enough chit-chat. You seek adventure? We will take you, won't we, Saki? To all the places you've ever dreamed of. Venice, Egypt. Ah, Egypt, I'm dying. Egypt. That's a line from something, I don't recall just what. Seek your fortune, exactly why we're here. Right, Saki? The fireworks, he means. And the ropes to skip as well. Forget intentions, they pave the road to hell. We'll see to your education. Whirly girlies. Fantastic beauty just waiting to be unzipped. No need to thank us. Maestro. Yeah, I might have mixed up a couple of those, but it's more or less on track. Beautiful, eh? Not really my key, but you can't have everything. That's after the song, which I hope to stream one of the dress rehearsals. But we shall see. Okay. Fun for October, isn't it? All right. Only my key, but you can't have everything. Pretty much the last line, except Arrivederci and hello there, which are a little hard to know exactly when those are, but get it more or less. Let's pick it up then with some Dune. And that is it for the Fantastics, unless I can stream some of the dress rehearsals. Depends on the context of that, but we shall see. Back to Dune. Been a good while since last Dune. Let's see where we left off. The next day, Count Hasimir Finring returned from his desert inspection with the Baron Harkonnen. Finring, oh yeah, let me move this over now that I think about it. That'll be called Champion Commands or something. Dragon Text. Let me see. It's probably by the webcam. Should be somewhere around there. There's the webcam. Imaloth, other things will restore with the Royal Hall. At some point, maybe the end of the month would be a good time for that. After all, we have other things to do for now. Let me find it here. Champion text, there it is. No need for that anymore. So where's a good place for it? Maybe by the chat. Don't want it to be too big, but at the same time I want you to be able to read it, so how's that? Good enough. It's a little bit much text now, but not actually any more text than there was. Just in a different position. We'll try that for now. See if that does the trick. Should be better. Okay. At dinner, basking in her presence, he asked his lovely wife what she had done in his absence. That was a big ironic, funny thing. Oh, nothing, my love, she responded with a carefree toss of her honey gold hair. She brushed her lips across his cheek in a tender kiss. I just tended my garden. We'll pick it up from there. Yeah, it was after all the elaborate stuff I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, water of life and such like that, yeah. Alright, we'll pick it up from there. I stand in the sacred human presence. As I do now, so should you stand someday. I pray to your presence that this be so. Let the future remain uncertain, for that is the canvas to receive our desires. Thus the human condition faces its perpetual tabula rasa. We possess no more than this moment where we dedicate ourselves continuously to the sacred presence we share and create. Bene Gesserit Benediction. This is how we test human girls. Behind the barrier of her desk, Reverend Mother Gaius Helen Mohayim looked like a stranger, her face stony, her eyes black and merciless. It is a death alternative challenge. Instantly tense, Jessica stood before the Proctor Superior, a skinny girl with long bronze hair. Her face bore the seeds of genuine beauty that would soon flower. In back of her, the acolyte who had delivered the Reverend Mother's summons closed the heavy door. It locked with an ominous click. What kind of test does she have in mind for me? Yes, Reverend Mother. Summoning all of her strength, Jessica kept her voice calm and still, envisioning a shallow pool of sound. With a recent promotion, Mohayim had acquired her additional title as Proctor Superior of the Mother School on Wallach 9. Mohayim had her own private office, with an unique books sealed in a clear plas humidity case. On her wide desk sat 3 silver trays, each containing a geometric object, a green metal cube, a brilliant red pyramid, a golden sphere. Streaks of light shot from the surfaces of these objects, bouncing between them. For a long moment, Jessica stared at the hypnotic dance. You must listen to me carefully, girl, to every word, every inflection, every nuance. Your very life depends on this. Jessica lowered her eyebrows. Her green-eyed gaze shifted to the older woman's tiny bird-like eyes. Mohayim seemed nervous and fearful. But why? What are those? Jessica pointed at the unusual articles on the desk. You're curious, are you? Jessica nodded. They are whatever you think they are. Mohayim's voice was as dry as a desert wind. Synchronized, the objects rotated, so that each one revealed a dark hole in its surface. A hole that corresponded in shape with the object itself. Jessica focused on the red pyramid with its triangle-shaped opening. The pyramid began to float toward her. Is this real or all illusion? Startled, she opened her eyes wide and stared, transfixed. The other 2 geometric shapes followed until all 3 floated in front of Jessica's face. Brilliant beams darted and arced, spectral streaks of color that made barely audible snappings and flowings. Jessica's curiosity mingled with fear. Mohayim made her wait for many seconds, and then said in an iron voice, What is the first lesson? What have you been taught since you were a little girl? Humans must never submit to animals, of course. Jessica allowed a thread of anger and impatience to infiltrate her voice. Mohayim would know it was intentional. After all, you have trained in me, Proctor Superior. How can you suspect I am not human? When have I ever given you cause? Silence. People are not always humans. She came around the desk with the grace of a hunting cat and peered at Jessica through the sparkling light between the cube and the pyramid. The girl felt a nervous tickle in her throat, but didn't cough or speak. From experience with this instructor, Jessica knew something more was coming, and it did. Ages ago, during the Butlerian Jihad, most people were merely organic automatons, following the commands of thinking machines. Beaten down, they never questioned, never resisted, never thought. They were people, but had lost the spark that made them human. Still, a core of their kind resisted. They fought back, refused to give up, and ultimately prevailed. They alone remembered what it was to be human. We must never forget the lessons of those perilous times. The Reverend Mother's robes rustled as she moved to one side, and suddenly her arm moved with an astonishing flash of speed, a blur of motion. Jessica saw a fingertip needle pushed at her cheek, just below her right eye. The girl did not flinch. Mohiam's papery lips formed a smile. You know of the Gom Jabbar, the high-handed enemy that kills only animals. Those who behave out of instinct instead of discipline. This point is coated with metacyanide. The tiniest prick, and you die. The needle remained motionless, as if frozen in air. Mohiam leaned closer to her ear. Of the three objects before you, one is pain, another is pleasure, and the third is eternity. The Sisterhood uses these things in a variety of ways and combinations. For this test, you are to select the one that is most profound to you and experience it, if you dare. There will be no other questions. This is the entire test. Without moving her head, Jessica shifted her gaze to study each item, utilizing her Bene Gesserit powers of observation and something more, the source of which she did not know. She sensed pleasure in the pyramid, pain in the box, eternity in the sphere. She had never undergone a test like this before, and had never heard of it, though she knew of the Gom Jabbar and the legendary needle developed in ancient times. This is the test, Reverend Mother Mohiam said. If you fail, I will scratch you. Jessica steeled herself, and I will die. Right. Like a vulture, the leathery proctor hovered over beside the girl, watching every flicker of eye movement, every twitch. Mohiam could not let Jessica see her own anguish and dread, but she knew she had to carry out the test. You must not fail, my daughter. Gaius Helen Mohiam had trained Jessica since her youth, but the girl did not know her heritage, did not know her importance to the Sisterhood's breeding program. She did not know that Mohiam was her mother. Beside her, Jessica had turned ashen with concentration. Sweat sparkled on her smooth forehead. Mohiam studied the patterns on the geometric shapes, saw that the girl still had several levels to go within her mind. Please, child, you must survive. I cannot do this again. I am too old. Her first daughter, by the Baron, had been weak and defective. Following a terrible prophetic dream, Mohiam had killed the infant herself. It had been a true vision. Mohiam was certain she saw her place at the culmination of the Sisterhood's millennia-long breeding program, but she also learned through startling prescience that the Imperium would suffer great pain and death, with planets burned, a near-total genocide, if the breeding scheme were to go awry, if the wrong child were born in the next generation. Mohiam had already murdered one of her daughters, and she was willing to sacrifice Jessica, too, if necessary. Better to kill her than to allow another terrible jihad to occur. The poisoned silver needle hovered a hairbreadth from Jessica's creamy skin. The girl trembled. Jessica concentrated with all her might, staring ahead but seeing only words in her mind. The litany against fear. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. As she took a calming breath, she wondered, which do I choose? The wrong decision and I die. She realized she had to go deeper, and in an epiphany, saw how the three geometric objects were positioned in the human journey. The pain of birth, the pleasure of a life well lived, the eternity of death. She was to select the most profound, Mohiam had said, but only one. How could she start anywhere but the beginning? Pain first. I see you have chosen, Mohiam said, watching the girl's right hand lift. Cautiously, Jessica inserted her hand into the green cube through the hole in one side of it. Instantly, she felt her skin burning, scorching, her bones filling with lava. Her fingernails were flaking off one by one, peeled away by the ferocious heat. She had never in her life even imagined such agony, and it continued to build. I will face my fear and allow it to pass over me and through me. With a supreme effort, she resigned herself to living without her hand, blocked off the nerves. She would do it if she must. But then logic imposed itself, even with the agony. She could not recall seeing stump-wristed sisters in the halls of the mother's school. And if all acolytes were required to face tests such as this, when the fear has passed, there will be nothing. A distant analytical part of her brain realized that she did not smell cooking flesh either, did not see wisps of gray smoke, did not hear the crackle and pop of sizzling fat in the meat of her hand. Hello, Marsh. How are you tonight? That was some looping music, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. Happy October, Marsh. How is your grim harvest, spooky harvest? Harvest Moon and Stardew Valley. Remember we played Phasma that one time? I think about playing that this month. I haven't played it since May of last year, so it'd be a good time to get back to it, but it's Red Dead tonight. Hello, hello, Marsh M. I am good. How are you tonight? Was feeling better last night after the stream, just, couldn't sleep for a few hours again, but besides the internet issues we were chatting about today, it's alright.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Marsh, and happy first chat of October 2024. With the new Twitch all-time sub-gifter leaderboard. Definitely not your kind of game. In what way, I wonder? Like the gameplay or the style? Interesting. Was that, like, too much puzzle strategy, not enough action? Or was it just, too much horror, too, like, gratuitous? I'm curious, your experience with it and how you found it. Did you ever look into Starlink? It might be available somewhere here. I'm talking with other cable company an hour away because it's like in the family. I was wondering if they could help me out. But yeah, it's definitely worth looking into. Haven't really called anyone yet, but AT&T is definitely having its issues. Oh, Stardew isn't your kind of thing? The farming sim isn't for me. Oh yeah, I was wondering a similar one. Yeah, I played Stardew for about 5 minutes. I lost the fishing pole and then I quit, but Terraria was better. I built the whole Dragon Palace in Terraria a few summers ago before stream began. Good fun there, Marsh. Yeah, we'll look forward to get back to Red Dead today, and hopefully Darkwood, Darkest Dungeon. We can hopefully finish Darkest Dungeon this month. That's been a long time coming. It's just so challenging, It's extremely challenging. But yeah, what do you know? Terror Tuesday and the 1st of October. How awesome was that for today? That's another special coincidence there. And you can see my nice new 300 gift sub badge there. That's nice. It's nice blue and purple. Blue and purple colors. Very fun. Good bit of Dune. Have you heard anything of the Dune RPG, the Dune MMO, the Dune survival game? Dune Awakening, I believe. Have you heard much about that? I don't know when that's set to release, but certainly give it a try and have high hopes for it. I mean, there have been a few games in the actual Dune-specific universe, but I think the main one was just the real-time strategy one, similar to like StarCraft, wasn't it? I've never played those, I'm not too sure. It reminds me of those old games like Myst and Shivers and such, those like point-and-click kind of games. Yeah, Shivers was one I played in the really old like Windows 98 computers, one of my first horror games. That was pretty freaky at the time. There was a couple of them. It's basically, you know, point-and-click adventure. We fixed the little champion line there as well. Marsh. They have you featured in the live stream with the moment badge. I thought about making another moment badge when you make a clip for that precision gambit soon. Before that expires. That's the only time-sensitive one I need to do now, I think. Absolutely. Analytical part of mine did not smell kicking flesh, either did not see wisp of gray smoke, did not hear the crackle and pop of sizzling fat in the meat of her hand. Only I will remain. Fighting for control of her nerves, Jessica shut off the pain. From her wrist to her elbow, she felt only cold numbness. Her hand no longer existed. The agony no longer existed. Deeper, deeper. Moments later, she had no physical form whatsoever, having separated herself entirely from her body. Out of the hole in the green box came a mist, like incense. Good, good, Mohayim whispered. The mist, a manifestation of Jessica's awareness, floated into a hole of a different shape. The entrance to the Red Pyramid, now a jolt of pleasure, suffused her. Hello to Victorious Maestro. How you doing tonight? Funny other box play. Let's turn the webcam a little bit, but hello, hello. Now a jolt of pleasure suffused her. Oh, interesting. One quick second here. For you to check it, Marsh. Pretty much fine, yep. We're having a nice time with Dune at the moment. Returned to Red Dead for the first time in a few months as well. Well, it's been a few months. So that will be nice. Let me know what you think. A little phantom there, that's funny. Alright. Intensely stimulating, but so shocking that she could hardly bear it. She had gone from one extreme to another. She trembled, then flowed and surged like the ascension of a tsunami on a vast sea. Higher and higher the great wave mounted, crested. But the mist of her awareness, after riding the top of a powerful wave, suddenly cascaded down it, tumbling away, falling. The images vanished, and Jessica felt the thin fabric shoes on her feet, a clammy, sweating sensation of skin against material, and the hardness of the floor beneath. Her right hand, she still couldn't feel it, and couldn't see it either, or even a stump at the wrist, for only her eyes were able to move. Glancing to the right, she saw the poison needle hovering at her... Wait, do we go back a page? No. No, we didn't. Okay. She trembled and flowed and surged like the ascension of a tsunami on a vast sea. Higher and higher the great wave mounted, crested. But the mist of her awareness, after riding to the top of a powerful wave, suddenly cascaded down it, tumbling away, falling. The images vanished, and Jessica felt the thin fabric shoes on her feet, a clammy, sweating sensation of skin against material, and the hardness of the floor beneath. Her right hand, she still couldn't feel it, and couldn't see it either, or even a stump at the wrist, for only her eyes were able to move. Glancing to the right, she saw the poison needle hovering at her cheek, the deadly Gom Jabbar with the golden sphere of eternity visible beyond. There we go. Mohiam held firm, and Jessica centered her vision on the distant star. A prick of the needle, and Jessica would enter the sphere of eternity, in mind and body. There would be no return. The girl felt no pain or pleasure now, only a numbed stillness as she hovered on the precipice of a decision. A realization came to her. I am nothing. Pain, pleasure, eternity, all interest me, Jessica murmured at last, as if from a great distance, for what is one without the others? Mohiam saw that the girl had passed the crisis, survived the test. An animal would not have been able to comprehend such intangibles. Jessica sagged, visibly shaken. The poison needle withdrew. For Jessica, the ordeal was over quite suddenly. All of it had been imagined. The pain, the pleasure, the nothingness, all accomplished through Bene Gesserit mind control. The tremendous ability of the sisterhood to direct another's person, thoughts, and actions. A test. Had her hand really gone into the green cube? Had she become a mist? Intellectually, she didn't think so. But when she flexed the fingers of her hand, they were stiff and sore. Her robes smelling of musty perspiration, Mohiam trembled, then regained her composure. She gave Jessica the briefest hug, and then her demeanor became formal again. Welcome to the sisterhood, human. All right, we shall do one more for now, I think, before we return to the Red Dead Adventures for the first time since March 11. It's been, 7 months there, so that'll be nice. Alrighty. Quick bit of fun, everything needed. Alright, one moment before we continue on to the next one. To be fun. Let's see. Chapter 5, it should be chapter 6 or so. Red Dead, other friend got that. Chapter 5, traitors. We will see. Okay. It's going alright, yeah. Try to get a few minutes extra sleep was nice. Basically, Keep up the vitamins, try not to get sick or so, but the COVID test was negative last night, so that's good. But yeah, doing a few things here and there. Got a little more battle pass progress for Hunt and Fortnite when the internet wasn't crashing or I wasn't getting the cursor bug multiple times, and Fortnite the most frustrating deaths you can imagine, so that's rough, but it's alright. Still make some progress for the greater good, right? All for the stream eventually, when we can stream those more regularly. I'll probably save it for tomorrow or so for back to those, just to try a round or two, not like extensively, but just a little bit here and there. I fought in great wars to defend the Imperium and slew many men in the Emperor's name. I attended Landsraad functions. I toured the continents of Caladan. I managed all the tedious business matters required to run a great house, and still the best of times were those I spent with my son, Duke Paulus Atreides. How about you, Marsh? You had a terrific time today? When the ducal wingboat cast off from the docks and moved out into the sea, Leto stood at the bow, and turned back to gaze at the ancient edifice of Castle Caladan, where House Atreides had ruled for 26 generations. He could not recognize faces in the high windows, but he saw a small silhouette on a high balcony, Kalia. Despite her resistance to him taking young Victor, not yet 2.5, on the ship, she had indeed come to see them off in her silent way. Oh yeah, glad to hear, Marsh. Leto took heart from that. Could I take the helm? Romber's rounded face wore a hopeful smile. His unruly straw-colored hair blew in the freshening breeze. I've never piloted a big wingboat before. Wait until we reach open sea. Leto looked at the exiled prince with a mischievous smile. That might be safest. I seem to remember you crashing us against the reefs once. Romber flushed. I've learned a lot since that time, common sense especially. Indeed you have. Tessia has been a good influence on you. When the mousy-haired Bene Gesserit concubine had accompanied Romber to the docks, her arm in his, she had passionately kissed him farewell. Some good stuff, really. In contrast, Kalia had refused to leave the castle for Leto. At the rear of the V-shaped craft, little Victor giggled, running his hands through the cold spray, while the ever-attentive guard, Captain Swain Goyer, kept watch. Goyer kept the boy amused while remaining alert to protect him. 8 men accompanied Leto and Victor on his happy-go-lucky voyage. In addition to Romber and Goyer, he also brought with him Thufir Hawat, a pair of guards, a boat captain, and 2 fishermen, Gianni and Dom, friends of Leto's from the docks with whom he'd played as a boy. They would go fishing. They would see the seaweed forest and kelp islands. Leto would show his son the wonders of Caladan. Kalia had wanted to keep her boy locked within the castle, where Victor would be exposed to nothing worse than a common cold or a draft. Leto had listened to her complaints in silence, knowing that the boat trip was not the root of her objection, merely the current manifestation. It was the same old problem. Perhaps Chiara's muttered comments had finally convinced Kalia that Leto was to blame for her unacceptable situation. I want to be more than an exile, she had shouted during their last evening together, as if that had something to do with the fishing trip. Leto stifled the urge to remind Kalia that her mother had been murdered, her father remained a hunted fugitive, and her people were still enslaved by the Tleilaxu, while she herself was a duke's lady, living in a castle with a fine, healthy son and all the wealth and trappings of a great house. You should not complain, Kalia, he said, his voice dark with anger. Though she could not placate her, though he could not placate her, Leto did want the best for their son. Now, under cloud-studded skies, they breathed fresh ocean air and cruised far from land. The wingboat cut through the water like a knife blade through jellied pundi rice. Thufir Hawat stood attentive inside the deckhouse. He scanned the signal ranging systems and weather patterns, always concerned that some danger might befall his beloved Duke. The master of assassins kept himself in powerful shape, his skin leathery, his muscles like cables. His sharp Mentat mind could see the wheels within the wheels of enemy plots. He studied third and fourth order consequences that Leto, or even Kalia, with her shrewd business mind, could not comprehend. In early afternoon, the men cast nets. Though he was a lifelong fisherman, Gianni made it no secret that he preferred a nice big steak for dinner, along with good Caladan wine. But out here, they had to eat what the sea provided. As the nets came up full of flopping, squirming creatures, Victor raced to inspect the beautiful fish with their multicolored scales. Ever watchful, Goyer stood conscientiously next to the child, steering him away from the ones with poisonous spines. Leto selected 4 fat butterfish, and Gianni and Dom took them to the galley to clean them. Then he knelt beside his son, helping the curious boy to gather the leftover struggling fish. Together, they tossed them overboard, and Victor clapped his hands as they watched the sleek shapes dart into the water. Their course took them into floating continents, or interlinked sargasso weed, a greenish-brown desert that extended as far as the eye could see. That makes you want to get back to Sunless Sea as well, soon enough. It's right here, actually. Already been a long couple months, or a full month, yeah, August 28th. Just over a month ago, but we'll be back to it eventually. Finish up the first captain, get to Submariner, and maybe Sunless Skies. Broad rivers flowed through breaks in the weed. Flies buzzed about, laying eggs in glistening water droplets. Black and white birds hopped from leaf to leaf, devouring shrimps that wriggled through the warm surface layers. The pungent smell of rotting vegetation filled the air. When the men anchored in the seaweed, they talked and sang songs. Swain Goyer helped Victor cast a fishing line over the side, and though his hooks tangled in the seaweed, the delighted boy managed to pull up several silvery fingerfish. Victor ran into the cabin with a slippery fish to show his father, who applauded his son's fishing prowess. After such an exhausting day, the boy crawled into his bunk shortly after sunset and fell asleep. Leto played a few gambling games with the 2 fishermen, though he was their duke. Gianni and Dom did nothing to help Leto win. They considered him a friend, exactly as Leto wished. Later, when they told sad stories or sang tragic songs, Gianni wept at the slightest hint of sentiment. Then, far into the night, Leto and Romber sat on the deck in the darkness, just talking. Romber had recently gotten a terse, coded message that Kater Pilru had received the explosives, but no word as to how they would be put to use. The prince longed to see what the rebels were doing in the Ixian caverns. Though he could not go there, he didn't know what his father would have done in the situation. They spoke of Leto's continuing diplomatic efforts in the Mauritani-Akazi standoff. It was slow, difficult going. They were faced not only with resistance from the feuding parties, but from Emperor Shaddam himself, who seemed to resent the Atreides' intrusion. Shaddam believed that by stationing a legion of Sardaukar on Grumman for a few years, he had already solved the problem. In reality, it had only delayed the hostilities. With the Imperial troops gone now, tensions were mounting again. During a long moment of silence, Leto watched Captain Goyer, which brought to mind another one of his friends and fighters. Duncan Idaho has been on Ginaz for 4 years now. He'll become a great sword master. Romber stared across the seaweed desert, where furry mermen set up a bubbly chorus, singing challenges to each other across the darkness. And after so many years of tough training, he'll be 1,000 times more valuable to you. You'll see. Still, I miss having him around. Right. The next morning, Leto awoke into a dewy gray dawn. Breathing deeply, he felt refreshed and full of energy. He found Victor still sleeping, the corner of a blanket wrapped around one clenched hand. In his own bunk, Romber yawned and stretched, but gave no sign that he meant to follow Leto out onto the deck. Even on Ix, the prince had never been an early riser. The wingboat captain had already pulled up anchor. At Hawat's direction, did the Mentat ever sleep? They coasted down a wide channel, through the seaweed toward open water again. Leto stood on the foredeck, enjoying silence broken only by the hum of the wingboat's engines. Even the weed-hopping birds were still. Leto noted strange colorations in the clouds out at sea. A moving clump of flickering lights unlike anything he had seen before. From this seat in the midship deckhouse, the captain increased engine power, and the wingboat raced along, picking up speed. Interesting. Huh. That's nice. Leto sniffed, detected a metallic scent of ozone, but with an added sourness. He narrowed his gray eyes, ready to call the boat captain. The dense cluster of electrical activity moved against the breezes, darting along low to the water, as if alive, approaching us. With a thrill of concern, he stepped backward into the deckhouse. "Do you see it, Captain?" The older man did not take his eyes from the steering column or the phenomenon racing toward them. "I've been watching it for 10 minutes, my lord, and in that time it's closed half the distance." "I've never seen anything like that before." Leto stood beside the captain's chair. "What is it?" "I've got my suspicions." The captain's expression betrayed concern and fear. He yanked the throttle lever and the engines roared louder than ever. "I'm thinking we should run." He pointed to the right, away from the approaching lights. Leto brought an edge of ducal command to his voice, stripping away the friendliness he had built over the past day. "Captain, explain yourself." "It's an Elecran, sire, if you ask me." Leto laughed once, then stopped. "An Elecran? Isn't that just a myth?" His father, the old duke, had liked to tell stories as the two of them sat by an open beach fire. with the night illuminated only by flickering flames. "You'd be amazed at what's in the sea, boy," Paulus had said, pointing toward the dark water. "Your mother wouldn't want me to tell you this, but I think you should know." He would take a long, thoughtful puff on his pipe and begin his tale. Now the wingboat captain shook his head. "They're rare, my lord, but they do exist." And if such an elemental creature was indeed real, Leto knew what destruction and death it could bring. "Turn the boat, then. Set a course away from the thing. Maximum speed." The captain slewed them to starboard, churning a white wake in the still water, tilting the deck at an angle steep enough to tumble the men from their bunks below. Leto gripped a cabin rail until his knuckles turned white. Thufir Hawat, the Swain Goyer, hurried into the deckhouse, demanding to know the reason for the emergencies. As Leto pointed aft, the men stared through the mist-speckled plaz of the windows. Goyer cursed with colorful language he never used around Victor. Hawat's brow furrowed as his complex Mentat mind analyzed the situation and plucked the information he needed from his storehouse of knowledge. "We are in trouble, my duke." The flashing lights and stormy appearance of the strange creature came closer on their stern, picking up speed, causing steam to boil off the water. The boat captain's forehead glistened with sweat. "It's seen us, sire." He jammed the engine throttle down so hard it nearly broke off in his hand. "Even in this wingboat, we can't outrun it. Better prepare for an attack." Leto sounded the alarm. Within seconds, the other guards appeared, followed by two fishermen. Romber carried Victor, who, frightened by the commotion, clung to his uncle. Hawat stared aft, narrowing his eyes. "I don't know how to fight a myth." He looked at his duke as if he had failed in some way. "Nevertheless, we will try." Goyer rapped on a bulkhead of the deckhouse. "This boat won't shelter us, will it?" The guard appeared ready to fight anything the duke identified as an enemy. "An Elecran is a cluster of ghosts from men who died in storms at sea," said the fisherman, Dom, his voice uncertain as he leaned out of the deckhouse, while the others went out onto the aft deck to face the creature. His brother Gianni shook his head. "Our grandmother said it's the living vengeance of a woman scorned. A long time ago, a woman went out during a thunderstorm and screamed curses at the man who had left her. She was struck by lightning, and that's how the Elecran was born." It hurt Leto's eyes to look at the towering Elecran, a squid of electricity formed by vertical bolts of power and tendrils of gas. Lightning skittered across its surface. Mist, steam, and ozone surrounded it like a shield. As the creature approached the wingboat, it swelled in volume, absorbing seawater like a great geyser. "I've also heard it can only keep its shape, keep itself alive, so long as it stays in contact with the water," the boat captain added. "That information is more useful," Hawat said. "Vermilion hells! We're not getting that bloody thing out of the water," Romber said. "I hope there's another way to kill it." Hawat barked a quick order, and the two Atreides guards drew their laser rifles. Weaponry brought aboard at the warrior Mentat's insistence. At the time, Leto had wondered how they could possibly need such firepower on a simple fishing trip. Now he was glad. Dom and Gianni took one look at the threatening knot of energy and scrambled below decks. Swain Goyer, with a glance behind him to make sure Victor was with Romber, raised his own weapon. He was the first to open fire off the stern of the speeding boat, sending out a hot, pulsing blast of light. The energy struck the Elecran and dissipated, causing no harm. Thufir Hawat fired, as did the second Atreides guard. "No effect," the Mentat bellowed into the rising buzz. My Duke, remain in the safety of the cabin. Even inside, Leto could feel the heat in the air, smell the burned salt and crisped seaweed. Bolts of primal power crackled through the Elecran's fluid body, and it loomed closer to the wingboat. A cyclone of raw power. With a single strike, it could shatter the vessel and electrocute every person aboard. There is no safety, Thufir, Leto shouted back. I will not let that thing have my son. He glanced at the boy, who grasped Romber around the neck. As if to flaunt its power, one crackling tendril bent down and touched the wooden side of the boat like a priest giving a blessing. Part of the craft's metal trim blasted free as hot sparks danced along every conductive contact. The boat's engines sputtered and died. The captain tried to restart the engines, was rewarded with only rasping metallic sounds. Goyer appeared ready to hurl himself bodily into the crackling mass if it would do anything to help. As the boat stopped running, the men continued to fire their laser guns at the core of the Elecran, though with no more effect than a thrown table knife. But Leto realized they were targeting the wrong place. The boat, with no power, was turning the bow coming around toward the monster. Spotting his opportunity, Leto left the deckhouse and ran toward the wingboat's pointy bow. Hawat cried out to restrain his Duke, but Leto raised a hand to forestall his intervention. Audacity had always been an Atreides hallmark. He had to pray the boat captain's folk wisdom was not composed entirely of ridiculous stories. Leto, don't do it, Romber said, clutching Victor tightly to his chest. The boy screamed and squirmed, trying to pummel his way free of his uncle's grasp so he could run to his father. Leto shouted at the monster and waved his hands, hoping to distract the thing, act as bait. Here, to me! He had to save his son as well as his men. The captain was still trying to start the engines, but they wouldn't switch on. Thufir, Goyer, and the two guards hurried to join Leto on the foredeck. The Duke watched the Elecran swell as it towered like an oncoming tsunami in the air. The creature maintained only a tenuous contact with the salt water that gave it corporeal existence. A lingering static charge made Leto's hair rise as if a million tiny insects were crawling on his skin. The timing would have to be precise. Thufir, Swain, point your laser guns at the water below it. Turn the ocean to steam. Leto raised both arms, offering himself. He had no weapon, nothing with which to threaten the creature. The fearsome Elecran glowed brighter, a crackling mass of primal energy that rose high above the water. It had no face, no eyes, no fangs. Its entire body was composed of death. Hawat barked the order just as Leto dove face first to the wooden deck. Two laser guns blasted the water into froth and steam at the base of the crackling ribbon of lightning. Clouds of white mist boiled up all around. Leto rolled aside, trying to reach the shelter of a high gunwale. The two Atreides guards also opened fire, vaporizing the waves around the flickering creature. The Elecran thrashed as if surprised, trying to draw itself back down into the seawater that boiled away underneath it. It gave an unearthly cry and struck the boat twice more with spasmic lightning bolts. Finally, when its connection had been completely severed, the Elecran lost all integrity. In a brilliant flashing and sparkling explosion, it dissipated into nothing, returning to the realms of myth. A shower of water splattered the deck, tingling and effervescent as if it still contained a shred of the Elecran's presence. Hot droplets pelted Leto. The stench of ozone made breathing difficult. The ocean became peaceful again, calm and quiet. How awesome is that? For the start of October, we get real type of ghost story and exciting little adventure there. That was really fitting for the start of our October here in the Dragon's Roost. Right. During the wingboat's subdued return to the docks, Leto felt exhausted, yet content that he had solved the problem and saved his men, and, most of all, his son, without a single casualty. Gianni and Dom were already formulating the stories they would tell on stormy nights. Lulled by the drone of the engines, Victor fell asleep on his father's lap. Leto stared out at the water curling past them. He stroked the boy's dark hair and smiled at the innocent face. In Victor's features, he could see the imperial bloodlines that had been passed to Leto through his mother. The narrow chin, the intense pale gray eyes, the aquiline nose. As he studied the dozing boy, he wondered if he loved Victor more than he loved his concubine. At times, he wondered if he still loved Kalia at all, especially during the past difficult year, as their life together had grown sour, slowly, inexorably. Had his father felt the same about his wife Helena, trapped as he was in a relationship with a woman whose expectations were so different from his own? And how had their marriage degenerated so far to the lowest possible level? Few people knew that Lady Helena Atreides had fostered the death of the old Duke, arranging to have him killed by a Seleucian bull. Caressing his son gently so that he did not wake, Leto vowed never to let Victor be exposed to such great danger again. His heart swelled as if it would burst with love for the boy. Perhaps Kalia had been right. He shouldn't have taken their child out on this fishing trip. Then the Duke narrowed his eyes and rediscovered the steel of leadership. Realizing the cowardice in his thoughts, Leto reversed himself. I cannot be overly protective of him. It would be a serious mistake to coddle this child. Only by facing perils and challenges as Paulus Atreides had made Leto do, could the young man become strong and intelligent, the leader he needed to be. He looked down and smiled at Victor again. After all, Leto thought, this boy may be Duke someday. He saw the dim gray coastline emerge from the morning shore mist, then Castle Caladan and its docks. It would feel good to be home. We'll pick it up again soon for Dune House Harkonnen. If you'd enjoyed, I always appreciate some feedback on our YouTube playlist. Let me know ways I can improve or what you liked about it. That would be very helpful. We shall move on to some Red Dead, get those headphones in, and return to it first time in a long while here. So that will be nice. Let's see. See how it goes these many months later. Today about to the 100-hour mark as well, so that's exciting. Oh yeah, I'll probably have Rockstar update that'll add some frame drop. I didn't think about that ahead of time. Doing a lot of updates today, a lot of games, NVIDIA, Fortnite, Steam games. But we'll be on to Red Dead as soon as Rockstar allows. Just a quick update there from 2% frame drop. Should be on the last chapter there, Marsh. Yeah, Arthur's almost dead from the TB and the gang, disarray and all. Pretty much the finale of it, but could be somewhere around 10 hours or less. And the way I play, I just do so many extra things. But yeah, 100 hours into it, so however long it took you to finish the campaign. Just a few extra challenges and things. Gives you an idea, you know, after the diagnosis, after the gang basically fell apart, and it's on its last legs. And, yeah, it's been a few months. I don't remember exactly where we left off, other than John and Arthur blowing up the train. That was the last big story mission, the train tracks. They blew that up, you know, the big cliff, the big high-up train track. I believe that was one of the last things I did, but it's great for October fun as well. There's all those zombie men, and you encounter a lot of those weird things. There's like that cult bunkhouse, all the people dying and stuff. I gotta sign back into Rockstar. Come on. Rockstar game account is required to play Red Dead Online. Why not try to play Red Dead Online? Oh, well, let me just try to sign back into this because it's necessary, apparently. Annoyingly. Been a long time since I messed with this. I have to reset my password. It's just been so long and I've never really used it in the first place. Played only a little GTA Online. Haven't even got past the character creation yet in Red Dead Online, but I doubt I'd play any custom servers or things. Maybe just the base experience to play as the cowgirl bounty hunter, so because I played the male character. Red Dead 1 and 2, I use Jack, but yeah, no females really, so just for variety. Fake character model. But yep, enjoyed some House Harkonnen in the background there at Marsh, kind of fitting ghost story fun for the start of October. A seafarer, you know, adventure there. That's exciting. Kind of like Sunless Sea there as well. They're monsters of the deep. From the depths. Be back to it soon. See where this email's at. Check spam folder. No. Seems like a different email than normal. I mean, it's obviously. Oh, I am on a different email. That's why. I made a new email for the new Discord. Marsh. That'll be my new theater email. The next show, just have to remember it. And I have to verify on my phone. Notifications, account key, yes, account key, trying to sign in. And I got a new watch yesterday, Marsh. I haven't shown you that yet. Just got a new watch. Last one I put in the hot tub, maybe broke it a bit, but yeah, a little logo there. I'll try to get it a little closer. There's the logo so far. Same logo you see top right there, but there it is so far. Upside down, but yeah. Alright, am I trying to sign in? Yes, all the stuff with the bank yesterday too, silly, but we got through eventually, just not for the initial Golden Kappa hype train. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I didn't have time to do the Golden Kappa. It's 24-hour mode, but you know, it's just a Golden Kappa, it's not a big deal. Alright. Whatever weird password I had there. Rockstar Games, of all things, just to play the story. Yeah, I'll do maybe a little extra online, and I'm playing a second playthrough as well. And now the verification for Rockstar. 2. Nice, it pops up that recent email there, like the other Steam coupons and things would pop up at the top of the email. Now we should be able to launch. Just about. Oh, that funness. Yeah, so the second playthrough, since I went straw hat and pretty low on her. First playthrough, just kind of messing around. I'd try to go high on her and see the other dialogue and things, the other choices in the story. Not many of them, but you know, there's a couple. Save a few people and do some good deeds. And not get the bandit challenge again, of course. That was the first challenge we did at that time, so good fun for that. Alright, let's take a bit of a look then. Fix that sound effect, drag and transition later. I think I'll just make it a command for now. Seems a bit tricky to actually fix the transition scenes, so just gonna add a command and type that command in for when we move onward to our first adventure of the night. But yeah, it's a little difficult to actually fix the transition since I cleaned up my desktop, set the original playsets out of the folders, you know, so I should just start with the folder in the first place, but learn those good lessons moving forward, you know. It's alright. Learn as we go. Repair that Royal Hall a little bit. Get back to Nox soon for our 1500 stream celebration. Yeah, I think I'll probably finish it on that celebration. We won't wait for 2,000 streams to finish. First playthrough of Nox on stream, but Castle Galava, great place to pick it up from there, so definitely gotta look forward to it from there. We shall see. Don't mind the Teletubbies and other things. Don't mind them. Just some silly Teletubbies, don't know how to name themselves. Saw one die in my hunt game earlier, it was funny. Alright, fix that up in a minute. Go to live scene. Just a moment there. Need to relaunch. But we shall. And for the chill stone, glad to fix the camera up a bit. I mean, good camera software. Even if I get a new physical webcam, I'll still with the same camera software, I imagine, so that's good. That tall avatar, I guess, some avatars are actually taller than others. That's pretty funny. Way I had the giant Diablo. It's at the beginning. Giant Diablo is pretty big, and I downsized him a bit. Just had to edit the avatar itself. Yep, must have crashed or something. Get it back to the main menu. We'll go from there. Should be alright. I think I need a hard load. I could just hit continue probably, but sometimes it's helpful to actually load. Let me see. Till I make my TikTok. Alright. So. Let me see. Story, yeah, it does hit continue by itself. I mean, it's continue by default. I can't do anything about it. Try to log back in to mix it up. Had a weird update just for daily dragons. That's how we count them, at least. We'll see. Alrighty. Yeah, we'll be finishing it pretty soon, Marsh. Another few missions. Will be the big finale. I don't actually know how it ends, so I'm excited to see just how Arthur dies, retires, and put to rest and is remembered by the characters of the original Red Dead, since that is after the fact. Alright, by the fort, we'll let the graphics all load up a bit. Gave him a shave recently, that's nice. See if I can check missions, any of that. Yeah, 73% it says, but it goes pretty fast. Got my first challenge done, Bandit, that was nice. Just gonna try Weapons Expert or Sharpshooter next. They're pretty challenging ones though. Pretty specific things. A lot of them are just animals and things, and the legendary, creatures, the beasts. I was kind of upset by having to kill all those, but it makes sense for the setting, all that kind of stuff. Alright, farewell to September 2024. Subgifter, good for now. For R. Johnny Bravo. On September. Somewhere around here. Yeah, I just have that command for tomorrow if I get the chance at some point. Couple commands. Some don't even need to be on the command menu. Let me see. See where it's at real quick. So we get back into it all this time later. It's been quite a few months. It'll be nice to finish it off soon. Always good to finish. I mean, I was thinking of all the ones we have finished this year. It has been quite a few finished. It's nice. Was reflecting on that. Maybe put it in the Royal Hall, their Hall of Fame, archives and things. There it is. All right. Let's move you up a bit there, Marsh. Solaria good enough for now? Cool. Compendium not even halfway yet. Look at so much more equipment I have to discover. Half the animals, fish, 3 more gangs, whole entire gang factions, plants, a few more horses, half the weapons, and plenty of cigarette cards. So when you say how far am I into it, includes the main story and all the extra stuff, but since I'm gonna reset for a new playthrough anyway. The Grizzlies. Yeah, I forgot to check the missions available. I just checked the map, I guess. Yeah, the journal is nice to see for sure. Yep, see, that was the last one. I just mentioned blowing up the high train bridge. Yep, that's where we left off. Indeed. And there's the journal. Let's take a look at the map. I'm not really focusing too much on the challenges. Something here. That's hostile. We might as well carry on before my last boy can do the extra hamish with the veteran part 3. That's hunting, so that'll be a good warm-up. Come back all these months later. I lost no chocolates in the stable. I lost Roach. I lost Reaper. Current horse is Goldie, aren't they? Goldie. So I still have Goldie at the moment. I lost a couple before. Smaller and bigger horses. I'll get reacquainted with the controls and equipment. I like the Mauser. Typically the bolt fire, bolt action, and the pump action. I think was my favorite for the most part. Shells and slugs. They have mouse 5 for the perspective switch. The frames definitely seem a little low, even though I optimized it on NVIDIA. Hopefully that'll balance out. I think I have it on medium still. I didn't turn it to max for a while. Let me double check that though. Graphics setting, yeah, it should be on. Oh, got turned up to ultra. No wonder it's so slow. It's trying to max everything out. So I don't know how that happened, but yeah, somehow everything got turned back up to ultra. I'm gonna go ahead and switch on back to most of those. You could do probably medium for a lot of them. Yeah, just textures one. Yeah, shadows obviously is hard. I don't know how that happened, but it just by default it turns it back up to ultra. It's rough, so kind of a much easier time of it. Not maxed out to ultra. You see the frames close to like 20 or 30 there. Definitely not close to 60 like they should be. That would make it a little hard to aim and interact and move and such, so we'll just clean that up for a few minutes. That will be better. Yeah, the shaders have a tough time. I don't even do graphic settings from the main menu. That might make it easier. Yeah, I don't know why it changes the settings automatically. Maybe NVIDIA optimizing it actually does change these settings. That's kind of weird. It's clearly not optimized if it's that low frames, though. Optimized in other regards, not in actual performance and balance of quality. Nice to have, you know, in between, not super pixely and basic textures, but 540p anyway at the moment. You're not gonna notice that much. Those finer textures, it was the same for Helldivers, all those fancy particles and things. Really just deducts your frames for very little visual difference, so we'll fix that. Be much better. Let me see. Certain things will be good. We'll eventually get to play it here. Yeah, benchmark test will tell me, you know, general area, but I'll try mess with the shades right away. See if that'll work. Yeah, the resolution might be a bit too low. Now for one, it's in windowed mode, so that's not good. Yeah, just the shaders seem to be hard to tweak. I don't know if it's like a storage capacity thing, it just doesn't have the room to work with, but we'll keep playing with it and eventually return to it. Yeah, I'm just gonna try mess with shaders because that's usually one of the heavier graphic settings that make the biggest difference. Not too sure. Yeah, officially surpassed your hours, Marsh. You had 95 hours. Almost the same amount as me. Officially. About to be 100 hours, but I don't think you played online or such much, right? It is worth putting a good amount of hours in. I mean, a lot of people are just like super amazed, impressed by it. I'd say it's, decent. I'm not, super obsessed with it like some people are. I mean, I think they hype it up a little too much, a little overrated for some things, but enjoyed the original game. It's definitely a good sequel, prequel. They definitely improved a whole lot from that first game, so see what the technology is even a few years from now. There's that other new one, the medieval type one. I was looking at that. Was maybe up my alley. It was called something Templar Bannerlord. I forget, but it's another new one people started playing. Always a lot of games coming out there, just like movies and such. A lot of them pass you by if you don't pay close attention to them. We shall see. Alright. If I can't turn the shaders down, I don't really know any way around that to avoid it crashing. Maybe I just have to do like one level at a time or something. Maybe that would help. Go from ultra to high. Apply changes. Crashes right away when I mess with shaders. And I can't change like the preset. I can't change like the general graphics setting. Crazy. Changing shaders, all graphics. Instantly shuts down to the desktop. Someone else had this issue. VRAM issue, maybe. Very strange. Keep those settings. It's weird, it crashed, then it resetted because the 30-second timer thing. Oh, I can't change quality preset, the quality preset level, custom. Why can't I just slide that to medium or whatever? Ugh. Tried everything. Updated my graphics driver, that's what I did today. I used GeForce Experience to literally force the change outside the game by optimizing them for performance. And there's control panel commands. Yeah, let me see if I can do something with the NVIDIA driver. That might help for switching it to performance instead of appearance, if they don't call it appearance or something. Game isn't optimized. Let me tweak it here. Custom settings. Quality, yeah, it's meant for max quality. Now I'm going to change it to performance. That should help. Yeah, by default it goes for quality instead of performance. I think it should be the opposite, but custom settings, that should help. NVIDIA, yeah, actually changes it. When you optimize it, it changes it to ultra. Because my computer can technically handle that. I just think because I have so many other games installed, the storage or something, I can't handle that many games maxed out or something at once. You'd have to choose one to install at a time or something. Similar to that, just like my watch face there, Marsh. Can I do one of those at a time? Custom watch face. So the current Dragon's Roost logo. It's at military time, so 2036 at the moment. Can change to regular time, but military time is technically better, so you can say the difference between AM and PM. Because if you look outside and look at like 8 PM, 8 AM, you could trust the actual universal synchronicity, the atomic clock. Trust that more. Military time is more reliable for that reason. But anyway, I digress. This should help. Now I actually set it for performance through NVIDIA, which is what caused it to be maxed out in the first place. Let's take a look at this instead. Should be better. should be substantially better. And it crashes before I even get to the menu. Okay then. Well, what's the other display capture? I forgot. What else? Yeah, I really think that would help, switching it to performance. No, it's going back to quality now. Alright, there we go. Performance. It's really like little tick bars, like it's just turning down the... Yeah, it's turning down certain things. I'll try to lower the resolution too, maybe that'll help. It's like, why would that not help it, you know, launching it? Lower performance settings. I mean, I can turn it from medium from there, but I really think that would make it better. I mean, originally I was having crashes and things before with it being on high graphics, like Saint Denis, just so many textures, so many files and character models and stuff running at once. It's just too much for it, you know. I have a lot of other games installed, as you can see. A whole lot of other stuff installed, some of those very big files, some smaller, but got like pretty much all my storage used, and I transferred the other hard drive from my old computer. It gave me a whole nother terabyte. It's 2 terabytes than what the basic gaming computer would have on its own. Alright, I'm gonna try the lower resolution, maybe that'll do the trick. Keep playing with it, adjusting. I mean, I don't know how turning it up to higher quality would make it easier to not crash. But yeah, let's see if I can go to full screen from this weird windowed mode it's on right now. There should be a setting in game for full screen. I would imagine most games optimize for full screen these days. Other ones like the Henry Stickmin one, because they're flash games, they don't convert well to full screen. But it has to be like a different engine, a different coding. Alright, it's currently at windowed mode. Let's see what the graphics settings are. It seems to be better. Yep, still on ultra for texture though. That doesn't make sense. Why would texture still be ultra but everything else? Alright, we have to restart for that one to apply, so we'll try to restart. I should maybe mess with the resolution, but there's got to be a full screen setting somewhere. Waiting for Red Dead to shut down. Oh boy. Yeah, my Steam friends will see me relaunching the same game 100 times, but unless they're in chat to complain about it, I just have to deal with that. The graphics not being properly balanced for whatever reason. Not a big deal. It's a graphics issue. What can you do? Interesting to consider, you know, all the simpler graphic engines, all the really fancy ones, this being definitely one of the more top tier ones there's ever been. All the Rockstar series, all the leaps and bounds they've gone through over the years. Definitely a very successful company because of how popular they've been, so that funds more things, more projects. Never played the first one, Red Dead Revolver. I guess that was a lot shorter and simpler than first Red Dead. There's gotta be a full screen toggle. Keep playing with other stuff. I'd rather not play it in windowed mode. That'd be a little immersion breaking and such. Back to Hogwarts and such soon, but we'll figure out Red Dead as well in good time. Alright, going to the settings, having turned the texture to low. Okay, it's resolution, screen type, windowed borderless, full screen. That's better. Full screen. Alright, got low, 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 medium, custom low. I think we're good. Everything's at least lower than it was. Let's hit that story button and hope for the best. I mean, we were in the game before, I just when I started messing with the graphics settings. So it should work. We were actually in the game, it just couldn't support me messing with the settings because it was really low frames, as you saw. So it might be a bit pixely, a bit textury. Already spent enough time on it now. Continue to adjust, optimize it next time or so. Right now, I'm just trying to be able to play in the first place, so I'm not exactly one to complain or, you know, try to mess with it any more than needed. Just trying for the basic playing at the moment. Let's see. Oh yeah, gotta adjust champion menu here, champion text. Champion menu, champion text. Champion for fun commands on the live scene will live. Where? At the bottom. Out of memory, please reboot, close other applications, and ensure it meets the minimum requirements. I can guarantee you it meets the minimum requirements. I would not understand why it'd be out of video memory. But maybe me alt-tabbing was the best thing to do right there. Oh my goodness. What do you mean out of memory? I have plenty of storage for the game itself. Actually, I lost some storage since changing those updates. Where did all that storage go all of a sudden? Just for updating Rockstar Game Launcher? That would make sense. Anyway, try again. There's really not much else I can do except uninstall more games, but I'd like to have it playable before we finish Hogwarts and Shadow War. Shadow War, one of the bigger ones. I should probably get to that for the Rings of Power finale. Just play it a few more times, join the Discord again. Might not get the Ring Wraith roll again for streamers, but be fun to play a few more times just in the epilogue. It's a good game, but it is very big file size. Let me look at the properties. Shadow War compared to Red Dead. Pretty similar, but yeah, let me see. Shadow War is 110 gigabytes. Pretty huge. And Red Dead is 120, so even bigger, but very close. Alright, starting in windowed mode. Oh yeah, just launch in windowed mode and then switch to full screen in game, I guess. Give it maybe a minute or so to adjust. Maybe that'll help. Maybe that will help. All sorts of things. It's alright. Shall we get there indeed? Nightly sub goal October. We're just beginning after all. The month of fun has just begun. We'll get to a few minutes tonight. It'll eventually work. I just have to tweak it or maybe uninstall some other ones I don't really plan to come back to. But yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Shadow of War. I just want to finish some of them. Wasteland 3, I mean, we were having pretty good fun with that new playthrough, but maybe it's not really worth it after all. Just a lot of planning, that type of game, a lot of resource management, strategy, but playing it on easier, again, I played on normal the first time, and playing it easier the second time, because the hardest mode is just so intense. I don't even know how to beat the hardest mode. It just requires every little meta thing, every little quest at the right time. So that's kind of challenging. But it was fun to play off stream. Just fun to share it on stream too, but maybe it's time to install Wasteland to make room for Red Dead. So it's having all these issues. I'm not so sure. Same place here, windowed mode. Give it a solid minute here to acquaint itself with my system or whatever it's doing. I don't know a lot of the technical behind the scenes stuff. I mean, I know some general terms and like how things work, but not really all the specific constraints behind it. Generally, I just think I have enough storage, enough video memory, because of all the other games installed. I mean, the computer itself is great, it can handle this easily, but still have some challenges with how many games are actually installed. Alright, let me just go to full screen, not mess with anything else here. apply, confirm. Waits and crash. Gosh dang it. Alright, I'm gonna go to the NVIDIA stuff now and try to change those settings. It says, yeah, display mode full screen. Oh, I went back to, yeah, full quality again. That's weird. Alright, I'll try it on the same resolution, just performance and full screen. See if that's enough. Custom settings. Keeps trying to go to quality. It's weird. It says quality is optimal. I know it should be, but it's not. Discord keeps changing the resolution to the monitor resolution. Quite the tricky business. Yeah, hopefully the higher resolution but lower, yeah, higher performance setting. Hopefully that'll do the trick. The other vampires, Marsh. Yep, could use a vampire to fix this engine. Nosferatu. Goodness. Yeah, here, Felix. Good studios, another good. Survivors, similar to Ace Visconti. It's kind of like a vampire, too. A vampire human. Alright. Vampire. Going to, yeah, check the settings now. Hopefully the high resolution is fine, but still need the shadows and the texture to be low. And they should be, but it's hard to make sure. I don't know why switching to full screen from that low resolution would cause it to crash. Then again, the shaders crash, other things make it crash. I just don't know all the technical stuff going on. So let's take another look. Alright, 1920 ultra texture. For some reason, again, set that to low. Apply. Keep these settings. Some modified settings will not be applied until restart. Well, we better restart then. Hope that the NVIDIA doesn't keep going to quality by default. I understand why it's doing that. It's supposed to stay on the settings I had, you know, before I actually hit that optimize button. Alright, let's see if it restarts by itself or not. I think I have to restart manually. Hopefully that'll do the trick at 99 hours. Working on it. Have time for it. Otherwise, not limited time like the Hunt and Fortnite Battle Pass, but internet doesn't really let me play those PvP, and they're only PvP. There's no real co-op modes for those, so we'll look for that better internet. Can play more consistently. Hopefully I've sorted out these single player issues by then too. Have less games installed at once. Generally a good idea, but some of them, you know, Shadow of War, it's ready to be uninstalled. I've done everything there is to do for the most part. It's very, you know, little extra things. Others like Red Dead, keep for a while. Hogwarts uninstalled too, finish that character, but it's tricky. Pretty tricky there. But at least we get to hang out a bit and discuss the philosophy of video games. Okay. How's it looking now? Yes, because I don't trust it. Low, still 1920. Well, I've done all I can do on my end. Now it's up to the game to work. So give it another try. And crash right away. Don't know why, but yes. Crashing as soon as I try to load in there. Pretty strange. That is pretty strange. Yeah, I'm not gonna hit. Oh, see, it did it again. NVIDIA is trying to force it to go to max quality every time. I really don't understand why it's doing that. Why won't you keep my settings, NVIDIA? Ridiculous. It's just not letting me have it as it should. It's not keeping the settings. So when I try to turn down the textures, which for whatever reason are set to high, even at max performance, the slider slid all the way to performance. It just won't let me do that. So there's really no way around it. We'll just have to try and play with max textures. At least everything else is low. Hopefully that'll be good enough and it'll be proper smooth frames, because NVIDIA is just being so stubborn for no reason. I don't know how to get around that when I've literally already tweaked it the way it's meant to be tweaked. So that's rough. Tried everything I can think of. Just have to keep trying, and hopefully that's good enough. Pretty rough. Pretty rough there. In the meantime, enjoy some commands. Rockstar. Random people on Rockstar Online. Alright, well, let's just see how it goes this time. Every time I try to tweak just the littlest bit, it messes up. So hopefully, setting the slider to performance, even with the higher textures, it'll still be smooth enough at least to play, at least to get through, and then maybe sometime around start of second playthrough, we'll figure out a better solution to not have NVIDIA mess with my life. We shall see. Oh man. Meantime, we see Arthur on a tree and some artistic loading screens reflect on people who would have similar frustrations a century ago. Probably quite different nature than this, but somewhat the similar emotions to it. Somewhat similar. Oh man. The frames do seem better than when I initially played. High textures be darned. Hopefully this is smooth enough. Not gonna mess with anything for now. Alright, Goldie.
Okay, fella.
If the game will allow me. Fella. I will eventually get to Hamish here. Yeah, it'll be hard to remember most of the controls, but they'll come to me in time. Goldie, a good golden horse. Out of the Midas touch. Yeah, it seems like it's, you know, low, but still high in other ways. It's an interesting balance. The frames are definitely better than they were earlier. I can at least, you know, play now. So it's at least playable. That's the main thing. It looks decent. It definitely doesn't look bad. 540p, you wouldn't tell most of the subtle differences anyway, so I think that's pretty good. Plenty of Mauser ammo, so we should be set for a while.
Yeah.
Let's switch to third person on first mistake or so. I guess I'll follow the actual path it has laid out for me. And Welcome on back after a little frustration to Red Dead these many months later for our Scarecrow Hat Arthur chaotic first playthrough. No need for the first playthrough to tag on Twitch, we could have that on YouTube. Always edit after the fact on YouTube. They just send me all over on the compass here, I don't really know which way to go. So, just gonna try and get around another area. It's telling me to go over the mountain, so that's not gonna work. He was east, I'm going west, so that's not helping. Now let's go a long way around to actually catch up to him. Survival instinct and all. Wasn't he east from me? So not the best route. Not trying to lose lovely horse Goldie all these months later, just on the first bout of it. All the wanted level and things. I think I cleared most of those. I don't remember. Donated the camp and all of that, but I think I probably cleared most of the wanted level. Just turned them into all the different counties or so. I didn't have the money to pay all the bounties, I think. So I just reset it manually. Not like the new Star Wars game where you clear the one level by getting the authority card, whatever to call it in. Thought that was a funny concept. Those bounty hunters, plenty of bounty hunters here too, in the west. But glad for you. Camera, other improvements. Feature those top Dragon Knights for today at least. Founder badge, good. Moment badges. Alucard with the 1.5 years sub badge. March tonight has the blue badge. Gift subs in combination he got some. Just a purple by himself as well, so that's great. Here are the streams. The rough water stream, negative 9.9 decibels. Should be pretty decent for now.
Yep. Yeah.
What's that? Leaves, probably.
Yep.
I forgot all the buttons. I forgot all the buttons. The kick. I remember how to pet the horse. It's been so long.
It'll take more than that, boy.
Don't even remember. I have a muscle memory for some of these controls. Some are much similar to the others. Some are quite different. Hand vein, such much simpler control scheme. Fortnite and Hunt, you know, FPS is different too. Fortnite's third person.
Hey there, mister. Hello.
Just greeting him. Try to ascertain the subtleties of movement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the road agent reputation.
That's my boy.
The villainous Arthur at the moment. Yeah, ride like the wind. It's good times. See what Hamish has in store for us. Little hunting bow stuff. Or rifle hunting. Varmint rifle is good fun. The golden varmint rifle.
Yeah. Hey there.
The mass mechanics don't make almost any difference.
The hell is your problem? Hi there, mister.
Said something rude, didn't he? I could hear it from the tone of his voice. Ooh, turkeys.
Who exactly do you think you're talking to?
Turkeys. Yeah, I have to actually look at the bestiary. It'll tell me what's best for them, but varmint or bows, pretty good. Let's try the bow to start, I guess. I got those poison arrows, but I got at least the legendary bear pelt and the moose. Couple of things. These are standard arrows, right? Yeah, I don't have any special ones. There's a lot of special ones you can make, just haven't yet. Dead ash, probably conserve. Barely need the turkey, but my cores aren't great either, but it's not too bad dying. Just don't lose the horse is the main thing. He dies, you don't really lose any progress. What is that? It's a horse, right? Ooh, coyote. That's what that was, coyote. Thought I heard a turkey though. Whose is this? Someone waiting to ambush? Ah, it's him.
Evening.
Oh, he's just sitting there.
Howdy.
I thought he was injured or something.
Evening.
Out of my face.
Who let the simpleton out of the asylum?
Out of my face. What a bastard.
Yeah, you dope.
You want me to put a bullet in your skull?
So easy to rile him up. It's just so easy.
Time to go, boy.
Time to go.
I'm
They
sorry,
eventually
boy.
shoot you, just the mechanics of it, they shoot you if you just stay in the area, even without further antagonizing them. What are those? Deer or something.
Yep.
Yep, not the friendliest neighbors out here. It's goats and sheep. Take the little one. Whatever that is. Sorry, ram. Oh dear goat. That's a sheep, yeah. Once. Finish him for now. He needs some sustenance. Oh, those are lots of them. In the bushes somewhere. Somewhere around here. There. No. Bell fox. Bell ox. There he is. Okay. Oh, I actually got perfect. Because, yeah, you were supposed to use arrows against him. I hit him twice, but it's still perfect, so. That's nice. Perfect ram hide. Wasn't expecting that. I might actually need that for the camp stuff. But since I'm going to do second playthrough anyway, I'm not trying to max out every little collectible in the game. I mean, it's fun if you don't want to grind any other games, but I have multiplayer ones I'm trying to get done. Alright, now we'll camp with that. When it lets me, the moment it's not. Funny noises on those.
Got my eye in today, boy.
Pretty interesting. Low honor for what? Maybe for the guy I was antagonizing, but... Oh, no, I let that one die slow. He was dying. I did shoot a different one twice. I'm sorry. I didn't realize, you know. Thought I hit the same one. That's why the other one was perfect. Now I understand. That's what happened. Can't harvest all, but you can stow them all. Underneath. Yeah, I didn't realize he was actually dying there. I thought maybe he might have been, but... And, game captures are very inclusive. I say before I crash again, though. Let me see here. March 8th. Yeah, I'll do a new slot for tonight. Plenty of new slots, and I think the new game might have a separate amount of slots. If not, I can just do a couple for that, but 3 is good for now. October 1st for March. We had a long 7-month break, didn't we? I'm trying to camp, but it's not letting me. Probably too steep or something. It'd be nice to camp twice the meat. You know, this one's lower quality. It's vest and such. At some point, you give me the option to camp. There's rocks, yeah. Rocks sliding down this way, Goldie. We'll figure it out eventually.
Hey, you there! Can I have a word?
Can you
Get
help me?
somebody else to pull over
Can't.
for you.
Relax!
It's got a bad reputation, so it shows. Alright, why is it not letting me camp? Well, I was trying to get camp with that. This thing usually gives you the option while carrying it, but hopefully that was good enough. Just trying to cook them all and eat them all. Most of them. The sheep meat, wherever it is. It's a big game meat. See, it doesn't tell you like what you actually have right now. Coffee. Hopefully it's one of these. Mutton is... I have no idea. Thought I knew what it was, but apparently not. I know venison is deer. That's about all I know for, you know, the unusual things that we're not used to interacting with. Tuberculosis, but that's at least good for now. I don't know if this stuff will spoil or not. So is it better to cook it now and store it, or is it better to leave it ready to be, you know, cooked for later? That's all he needs to eat for now, though. And he's actually really underweight because I just don't eat that much. But that only affects a couple subtle things in the game. People on the improv Zoom saying it's too realistic some things, but not too bad. Alright, well, I'll cook half of them, however that works. Same for later. Camera angle stuff. Good for now. Let's sleep. Now we're fine. Just a little picnic. They got some dirt on them, looks like. Creatures of the night to mess with us. Oh yeah, the photo mode, I forgot about that. You can take that. As is, you can't move the camera as much, but it's nice for what you are looking at. Oh, and you didn't cook the other one. That's weird. Maybe we can sell it later. It's weird, you know, like knowing what you sell, what you have. Very strange. Oh well, carry on for now.
How you doing, boy?
Goldie will see us through. Shall at least examine them, see what quality they are and what they are. Maybe the binoculars is better for that. That hatchet, remember we got that recently? Light. It's interesting, but it doesn't really help you see any better. Where was the binoculars? It's a coyote. Where are you going without saying hello?
Hey, partner.
Go to hell.
What was that, you son of a bitch?
You say that again, I dare you.
Dare me, huh? I just got rid of the bounty all this time. Later I had such a high bounty. It's probably best to keep that off. Yeah, this one you're wanted in, but I think that's just because of the story. And obviously this one you are, but Blackwater you are, but I think that one's just the story, and the rest of the extra counties. I finally got the bounty hunters and the marshals off me. I should probably not go around committing random acts of violence anymore. We can resist it for now, even though they're rude to him. He has other things to concern himself with. Don't need to give in to the bastards every time.
You okay, boy?
Just because he's low honor and bad reputation. His honor was, yeah, pretty low. You can examine it, but it's not too big of a deal. Yeah, it doesn't actually say it, but we can, yeah, tuberculosis. Yep, he's got that nasty tuberculosis at this stage, so that affects the cores quite a bit. And his honor, just say it's bad, it doesn't actually say what it is. Like, for some reason, yeah, the original Red Dead, it would say the actual name of your honor. Desperado, road agent, Forgot what the good ones were, but the bad ones had, you know, several levels.
Yeah, you all right there, boy?
Ooh, there's the big elks, yeah. Is that perfect? Hard to tell if it's actually 3-star or not. Long scope rifle for the kill, so that would be my rolling rock. I only have 2. I need to get like store the other one.
Stay calm there.
Just never bothered. Oh, we've got other priorities.
Back off! Stay back!
Yeah, I don't want them to horse me, so. Just trying to get off manually, but that's not working. Uh-oh.
Damn that! Stay there!
Alright, he did bite me the once, so switch to 3rd for now. Crazy wolves. All of them die slow. Almost every creature and such in the game dies slow. Yeah, I lost the ram. That was the perfect ram. Just wanted to. I really don't need the money, is the thing. I've had all the money I need. So I did want to cook it, but it's kind of hard to do that. Don't know what the meat of it is, so I guess I'll just cook all the meat to be safe.
Here's something to be happy, boy.
Okay. Ran into Goldie by accident. Yeah, I'll do the filters. That's alright. Alright, couple wolves here. Timberwolf, yeah, actually perfect Timberwolf. Yeah, they're trying to ambush me at night. Travelers. That'd be the Wolfman guy again. Felt really bad killing him. You don't really need to kill him. The guy raised by wolves. Not a werewolf, he's a raised by wolves. Yeah, big game meat from them. Not actually pay attention. And the perfect pelts.